Okay, so you know my favourite film of all time, but let's get into specifics. We're gonna focus on Disney. If you don't know what Disney is, it's time to get out from under the inner core layer of Earth, you uneducated. So basically, The Princess and the Frog is the 49th Disney animated feature film, and it came out in 2009, which is the same year James Cameron's Avatar came out, which is my favourite film of all time, as mentioned before. Coincidence? I think not. These movies were destined to be my favourites. Before I get into the reasons behind this being my favourite Disney princess film, please watch the movie yourself first, as this video will 100% contain spoilers. This isn't a game review, so I'm not gonna warn you when spoilers are coming. Also, notice how I specifically said Disney princess film instead of just Disney film. There are a lot of Disney films, many different genres, and it's extremely difficult for me to rank just one of the films as my favourite unless I put it into specifics. For instance, films such as Coco and WALL-E are amazing films, but in different ways. Coco had beautiful animation at points. When certain characters play instruments, you can see how they feel each note they play. The ending was extremely emotional for me and made me tear up, and I loved the music. WALL-E was genius with the way they were able to tell a funny, cute romance story with almost no dialogue, and its meaning of looking after the planet stays strong throughout the narrative, presenting the negative impacts through the human way of living, well, the new human way. However, both films are not perfect. Coco was predictable, but maybe this is because I'm not a child anymore? Well, and when I watched WALL-E as a child, I lost interest because my attention span was short. The time these movies came out and the age I watched them is definitely a factor and always something I have to consider, not to mention all the other factors that would affect my opinion. So that's why I can't pick a favourite, with the exception of Avatar. The main reason I'm able to definitely say that Avatar is my favourite film of all time is because no other film has had as strong of an impact on me as Avatar has. Please watch my review video on that if you haven't already, please. Oh, and also this video will be a lot shorter than that video, don't worry. I'm gonna keep this more concise. So here are the reasons why The Princess and the Frog is my favourite Disney princess film. Reason 1. Animation. If I remember correctly, The Princess and the Frog is the last 2D animated Disney princess film. All the Disney princess films after that have been 3D animated, like Moana and Frozen. Although the 3D animation still looks amazingly visually wise, I miss the 2D animation. It has that Disney signature style, that magic that 3D doesn't capture. I don't know how to describe it, but let's take Aladdin. Aladdin is my very close second favourite Disney princess movie, and I believe the animation style from this movie, specifically the scenes that include the genie and his magic, inspired the animation style in The Princess and the Frog. The smoothness in movements, that balance of making it look cartoonish enough to illustrate magic in a way that is more out of this world, but not too much which would just make it seem too silly, and it keeps the audience engaged and not push them away. You can see this used in scenes with Dr. Facilier, especially during the song Friends on the Other Side. This time it's used to present voodoo magic. There's a spookiness to it, but also an appeal. Look at Moana's Shiny song. That part looks great visually as well. Although voodoo magic isn't what it's trying to illustrate, it does attempt to show some sort of supernatural villain element to it. But I feel like this would have looked better as a 2D animation. Again, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not an expert when it comes to using this language, and I apologise, but I hope you can take a visual understanding of what I mean when comparing both movies. Besides this, I also love the character designs. They managed to make a swamp look nice, and I like the way they animated the lighting in this. Basically, I love the animation. They did an amazing job. Reason 2. Songs. What can I say? The songs are banging. Friends on the Other Side, When We're Human, Dig a Little Deeper, Gonna Take You There. Even that one background song, Down in New Orleans. I love all the songs. My favourite song from it is Almost There. Anika Noni Rose's vocal performance is amazing, especially on that last high note. The belting on that one, oh. I know this is going back to animation a bit, But I just wanted to mention how I love the transition from animation styles when it goes into what Tiana is picturing, like the restaurant to look after she buys and fixes it up. It looked nice. It's my favourite song in this because of how much I relate to it and how it motivates me whenever I listen to it. Tiana sings about how she's been working so hard to get this restaurant her and her father always wanted to get. She doesn't have time for partying and having fun. She doesn't care for that stuff anyway. She's gonna keep working hard regardless of what other people say and regardless of what she has to go through. And she knows how close she is to achieving her goal. I also have this mindset myself. My dad is also the entrepreneur type, so he always encourages me to keep working hard and keep doing what I'm doing. Now, the fact that this story is set in the 1920s allows for some great music. The jazzy swing start, I don't know the exact genre, but I love the use of wind instruments like trumpets and all that stuff. And do you know what this means? It means they can be easily turned into electro swing remixes, which I really love to listen to. Reason 3. Story. Everyone knows the original story. A princess kisses a frog, he turns back into a prince. That's about it. It's not new for Disney to take on an old tale and change it, but I really like what they did for this story. So the film is set in the 1920s New Orleans and begins with Tiana's childhood. It establishes the binary oppositions of those who have to work hard for a living, Tiana's family, and those who are born into wealth, Charlotte's family. Charlotte being Tiana's best friend since they were children. Tiana has the goal of opening her own restaurant, which her and her father always wanted to do. Many years later, Tiana becomes a hard-working waitress to save up for this dream, but turns out she may lose this old sugar mill she wanted to convert into a restaurant to a higher bidder. So she gets all sad and she meets Prince Naveen of Maldonia as a frog. He was basically cut off by his parents and he went to look for a rich woman to marry, Charlotte being the perfect candidate because she adores princes. However, Naveen and his servant person, Lawrence, gets involved with a Dr. Facilier, a witch doctor, who tricks them into a deal which turns Naveen into a frog and gives Lawrence Naveen's appearance. The doctor's plan was to kill Charlotte's father after Lawrence gets married to her, and then they secretly split the fortune. Naveen believes if he can get Tiana to kiss him, believing she is a princess because she's dressed up as one for a costume party, he will turn back into a prince. So she does this believing he can give her the money needed to open a restaurant, but oh no, she turns into a frog as well. Long story short, they end up in a swamp, meet an alligator called Lewis who can play the trumpet, and Ray, a firefly who's in love with a star named Evangeline. They take Naveen and Tiana to a voodoo queen called Mama Odie, who's like, oh, you gotta kiss a true princess to break the spell. So they have to find Charlotte because she'll only be princess until the parade ends at midnight. Turns out, during this journey, both Tiana and Naveen grew feelings for each other. Before they could fess their love to each other, Naveen's like, he gets captured. Naveen gets captured. Tiana sees Lawrence and Charlotte, believing that it was Naveen, gets heartbroken. Ray rescues the real Naveen and steals the charm that disguises Lawrence, gives Tiana the charm, explaining everything. The doctor kills Ray. He tries to convince Tiana to give him back the charm, and in return he'll give her the restaurant. And she's like, nah bish, and she breaks the charm, angering the voodoo spirits, who drag the doctor into the spirit world. Lawrence is taken away by the police. Naveen explains everything to Charlotte. The clock strikes midnight. She kisses him. It doesn't work. Naveen and Tiana decide to live happily as frogs. They have a funeral for Ray. It's basically implied that Ray becomes a star. I don't know. They married, and basically this makes Tiana a princess. So they turn back into humans after they kiss. Logically, that actually works. They return back to New Orleans and work together to finally open that restaurant. What a story! All the characters are charming in their own way. They all have a purpose and or a goal. Great character and relationship development. You know, it was a very entertaining movie. They didn't have to set the story in the 1920s. But they did, and I loved it. They didn't have to do many of the things they did for the movie, but they all worked well to make both lovely aesthetic and sound throughout this compelling story. Now I had to state my appreciation of the narrative in order to state my final reason, which is reason 4, morals. Now this is the main reason The Princess and the Frog is my favorite Disney princess film. The morals of this story are presented through character development. Tiana is a hard-working young woman who is willing to do all the work necessary, regardless of what people say about her, making fun of her, not believing in her. This is the first lesson. If you work hard and smart enough and never give up, you will reach your goal. Don't let other people bring you down. However, there is more to learn from Naveen and Tiana's relationship. They balance each other out and help each other grow. Take the scene where Naveen teaches Tiana how to dance. He doesn't push her to dance, he just gently encourages her. And here is lesson 2. Yes, you gotta work hard to achieve your goals, but you need to take time to enjoy the present as well. Spend time with your friends and family. It's okay to have fun. You need to find that balance. James, Tiana's father, was a man who worked very hard to provide for his family. He was extremely tired by the time he got home, but he was a happy man because all he needed was love, the love of his family. That was the really important thing he wanted Tiana to never lose sight of. Honestly, you never know how long we're gonna be on this earth. People come and go, and we gotta spend as much time as you can with them. The people we love specifically, before we regret not spending as much time with them. We also have this scene where Tiana teaches Naveen how to mince, and he struggles, but he does his best. Now lesson 3 is, some people are the way they are because of how they're raised. It's not completely their fault if they don't know the value of hard work, but it's up to them if they want to change and learn. And if they're trying, that's great. Don't give up on someone because of the upbringing. Give them a chance to change. Keep encouraging and supporting them, and they'll be able to learn, but it does take time, so have patience. We have a bunch of other mini lessons around here, like it doesn't matter what you look like or who you are, do what you love and people will come to you once they realize to look past outward appearance. This little lesson comes from Lewis. Another lesson you can take is from Ray. Love continues even after death. And also, don't judge someone so quickly. You may think someone is stupid for believing in something that doesn't seem to be true or doesn't make sense, but who knows, maybe at the end they were right. This film has probably the best character development out of all the Disney princess movies. Both Tiana and Naveen learn from each other and work and grow together to achieve their dream. That's a true happy ending. Your partner needs to help you grow and you need to help them grow, and that's how you get that strong relationship. This doesn't just apply with relationships with your partner, but also your friends. Friends who are willing to support you in any way they can are the friends you gotta keep around you. Charlotte is a great example of this. She is very supportive of her best friend Tiana, giving her the opportunity to earn enough money to buy her restaurant by asking her to make food for the costume party thing. This prince crazy woman is even willing to sacrifice her dream of becoming a princess and kisses Naveen, hoping him and Tiana will return back into humans and get married after finding out they were in love, instead of showing jealousy. What a best friend she is. Okay, so those were the main reasons why The Princess and the Frog is my favorite Disney princess film. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. If you say Aladdin is your favorite one, then I don't blame you, because honestly that film is amazing as well. It has amazing songs and great characters, but oh my days how much I dislike the song A Whole New World. It's just as bad as Let It Go. Anyway, thank you for watching and I'll see you eventually. Bye!